Every single second you spend trying to craft a pitch deck that actually raises money feels like walking through fire blindfolded. There's that bitter knot in your stomach, not knowing if what you've spent months pouring your soul into will land with investors or just end up deleted, ignored, forgotten. It's the worst kind of loneliness, the crushing weight of rejection that chips away at your confidence piece by piece. The sleepless nights, the rewrites, the feedback that never adds up, the silence after sending your deck out into the void. These aren't just inconveniences, they're battles in a war nobody trains you for. The harsh truth is, nobody wakes up with a perfect deck in their hands. Those decks that raise millions? They don't come from magic or luck. They come from a deep understanding of one brutal fact. Investors don't just invest in ideas. They invest in a story they can't resist, a future they can't deny, a founder they can't ignore. They don't see your slides. They feel your conviction. Your deck is not a presentation. It's a key, one that unlocks a connection between your vision and the person holding the check. If it's cold, cluttered, or predictable, that key snaps in their hands and you're left outside. Most founders think this is about fancy design, flashy numbers, or stuffing slides with every possible detail hoping to impress. But that's the trap. The decks that truly raise are razor sharp in their focus. They're so clean that every word, every image, every number feels like it's pulled from the heart of an unstoppable force. That force is your unwavering belief in something more, something bigger than the system that said, "This is how you do it." Investors don't want the system. They want to break it with you. Here's what you don't hear enough. Raising is not about convincing others you have a good idea. It's about radiating the undeniable truth of why your solution changes the game, why your vision shakes the ground beneath the status quo. It's about stripping away the BS, the noise, the safe choices. Investors are starving for founders who dare to bleed for their vision, who look at the comfortable world around them and say, "No, this must be different." They want the fire that scorches through doubt, the clarity born from a relentless mission, not a pie chart stuffed with buzzwords. If your deck is just a safe bet, it won't raise. If it's just a summary of what you've done, it won't raise. A deck that raises is an invitation, an urgent summons to the few who can see what the world is missing and have the guts to back something raw, real, and revolutionary. The decks that raise whisper a promise. This is where the future lives, and here is why it must exist. So what do those decks actually look like? What's the secret that separates the ones fading into archives from the ones stamped with signed term sheets? First, obsession with clarity. Investors don't have time, and they certainly don't want to navigate a maze. Every slide has one job, and one job only: cut through the fog and hit a nerve. The problem you solve must be so palpable that it hurts just to ignore it. You're not selling a product, you're exposing an undeniable weakness in the world, something that, if left alone, will burn worse tomorrow. When your deck does this, it doesn't just inform, it disrupts, it wakes people. It leaves no room for maybe or let's see. Next is radical focus on the customer's world. You must breathe their air, walk their streets, and feel their pain. Investors aren't betting on your product alone. They are betting on your ability to know the people you serve better than anyone else in the world. This kind of insight is irresistible because it signals a founder who won't just sell once, but will shape the market forever. Then comes the undeniable proof of traction, but not just numbers. True traction is a story told through growth, through early believers who couldn't live without your solution. It's about showing that you have cracked the code of adoption, that demand doesn't have to be pushed. It pulls itself. You don't need to show perfection. You need to show momentum that feels unstoppable. And here's something rarely spoken: vulnerability. Yes, it sounds scary. Your deck must show you know your risks. You're not hiding from the challenges. Instead, you face them head on. You tell investors, "Here's the mountain, here's how we climb it." That honesty doesn't scare them away. It pulls them in. It builds trust. It proves you're not a naive dreamer. You're a warrior who's chosen the battlefield and refuses to back down. But ultimately, The most powerful decks, those rare beasts, are soaked in authenticity. No jargon, no fluff. Just people talking to other people. Real, raw, and relatable. A deck that raises is like a breath of fresh air in a room full of stale conversations. It feels like the future raining down on the present. It's not about fitting the mold, it's about shattering it. Let's be real. None of this is easy. The system wants you comfortable in the noise, in the same templates, in the safe lanes. But the truth is that raising money is a rebellion. It's about standing against a tide that says no, not yet. Try harder, but stay small. If you want to raise, you have to burn that tide down. You have to become the signal so powerful that silence is impossible. And there's a reason this feels so lonely. The world wasn't built for founders who challenge everything and refuse to conform. It was built to process, to optimize, to dim the fire inside. But those who build decks that raise, who break through, are not just founders. They are revolutionaries carefully crafting not just a pitch, but a movement. A movement where every slide flashes a spark that lights up the darkest rooms of doubt. If you want to know why some decks raise and others don't, look beyond slides and into the souls behind them. Those decks tell a clear, urgent story of a new reality that will not be denied. They embody founders who aren't waiting for permission, who refuse the comfort of conformity, and who dare to be understood on their own terms. The world is full of false promises. Freedom that binds you. Comfort that kills your fire. Equality that rewards the average. But the decks that raise belong to those who refuse to be average, who refuse to be shackled, who dare to be wild, unruly, endlessly becoming. Those decks don't just attract money, they magnetize kindred spirits. Investors who see themselves not in financial returns, but in the transformation the founders bring. Understand this. The deck that raises is a bridge connecting isolated brilliance with aligned power, lonely potential with burning support. It's not just about the slides. It's about the network you announce you belong to by showing your fire in the first 30 seconds. The deck is your rallying cry to those rare few who get it, who burn as you do, who are ready to build the world that should be. So, if your deck feels like it's drowning in sameness, in rules that don't fit, it's time to stop copying and start becoming. Become the exception. Become the outlier. Become the signal so fierce, so authentic, so transformative that investors don't just see your deck, they feel they must be part of your journey or lose everything they didn't know they wanted. There is no blueprint, no secret hack. There is only relentless truth-telling, relentless focus, and the courage to stand outside the comfort zone screaming, "This is what matters. This is worth betting everything on. If you can do this, if your deck can do this, expect the fire to catch. Expect the silence to break. Expect the right people, those few, to not just listen, but to move, to invest, to launch with you into something no one else can see. Remember, this isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out. It's about breaking the chains of a world that forgot how to raise the exceptional. And your deck? Your deck is your freedom song. It's the key to the future only you can unlock. Raise not just money. Raise belief. Raise revolution. Raise the world you know should be here waiting to be built. This is your time. This is your deck. This is the moment it raises.